So here it is. This is the Nokia 920 I'm about to show you. And the upgrade process took quite a long time. I would say when I started upgrading it last night at about 5 o'clock, it wasn't fully upgraded until about 9 or 10 o'clock at night. So it was a good 4 or 5 hours to upgrade it from Windows 8.1 to Windows 10. A couple of times it seemed to stop. There was one point when it said updating 63%, and that seemed to last for about half an hour or so. And at that point I thought I'd completely bricked it. But if this happens with you and you're trying to upgrade it using the inside program, just be patient with it, because there were times when it did look like it was completely bricked out and it completely stopped. But I just let it go, and I said after about 5 or so hours it was eventually upgraded to Windows 10. As you can see, it looks very similar as it did before in Windows 8. There are some differences, and I'll go like that and you'll see. And as I say, it opens pretty quickly. If I look at the Microsoft Edge. Now, on the 920, everything seems to be opening fairly quickly. It's not lightning quick. It isn't going to be as quick as a brand new phone, but it's pretty good. And I'd say in comparison to the Windows 8.1, it's not that much slower. Maybe a tad bit slower, not much. Microsoft Edge does, as a browser, does look a lot better than the one on Windows 8.1. I'll close that down. Now there are some changes. So for example, if I go into and see what I've got up there, I press that, go to S. If I want to look at the settings, straight away you can see that it is settings very similar if you've got a Windows 10 PC. And scrolling through it, system, and as you can see, everything's loading up pretty quickly. Now I'd read online that for some people that it didn't run that well on the 920, and obviously by using the inside program, it does say, you know, if this is your main phone, don't do it, and all these warnings. I have to say, so far, as I've only had it installed for just under a day, it seems to be working absolutely fine. Everything seems to be going fairly quickly, and it all seems to be fairly fluid. So far, I haven't really seen any major slowdowns, or certainly I haven't had any crashes yet. But as I said, it's only been a day. There is the issue with Hair Drive, which it works fine, but as some of you may know, they will not be supporting on the Windows 10 in the near future, and I believe it's in June they're going to be stopping it. So for the next couple of months I'll be able to use this, but from about June they'll no longer be supporting Windows 10, which is a shame, because it's the main sat-nav I actually use. I actually find it was much better as a sat-nav than my TomTom that I had in the past, which used to make mistakes all the time. Instead, they're going to be using, so as soon as Hair Drive stops working, you've got Microsoft Maps to use instead. And basically Microsoft Maps uses the same maps as Hair Maps, same system for sat-nav as Hair Maps, and as yet I've not tried it out, but it seems pretty good, I have to say. Now on this phone, I would say that the weather map on Windows 10, weather app, looks much better. And again, as you can see, everything's loading up pretty quickly. I go to look at tomorrow's weather, I go down. As you can say, everything's smooth, everything's good. In fact, I would say that some of the stuff, you know, it's exactly the same phone, by upgrading from Windows 10 to Windows 8. From Windows 8.1 to Windows 10, everything does look, you know, a lot of stuff looks a lot, sharper. And I mean, one of the things that definitely has improved is the email apps. So here's the one for my Yahoo account, and as you can see, it loads up great, and it looks, really, really good. And if you want to get rid of any messages, go like that. Brilliant. Highlight it, delete, bam, it's done. And I think the email app is just is a big improvement. The other one, it used to be pretty good on Windows 8.1, but I think the version on Windows 10 is far superior. I mean, so far with all the apps I had on my phone before, all of them are working. From going from Windows 10 to from Windows 8 to Windows 10, and I haven't had one of them which has stopped working. Every single one works brilliantly. One of the problems is with the BBC apps, and that's nothing to do with Windows. It's just basically BBC are really good at updating their apps for Android and for Apple, and essentially the iPlayer for BBC iPlayer and the BBC iPlayer radio are essentially you're just passed on to the website. Really, it's just really basic. And if you're in my house and you're watching it, fine. But then again, if you're in a house, you might as well just watch iPlayer on your TV. So, as opposed to the Android and the Apple versions, as you can see, you can't download any programs on it. You can't do that, which I have to say, is pretty poor from the BBC. But basically, they don't really bother with the Windows mobile system anymore. So it's the BBC apps are pretty poor, and only can use them occasionally. But every other app I've seen and every other app I've used so far, there's been no problems. And as you can see, in terms of opening up the apps, which I used to have on 8.1, it's opening up pretty much as quickly as it used to be. I'll open up video file.
If you could have a dream, then you could have a dream. How you got to have a dream come true.
And everything's works. So far, all the apps that were working on 8.1, I found are working absolutely fine on 10. The camera apps, I took a few photos earlier. Those worked fine. It's working fine. It's working absolutely perfectly as far as I can see. So what I'm going to end up is, would I recommend? Now I can't guarantee that by upgrading to the Insider program that you won't find any difficulties, or that it's not going to brick your phone. All I can do is go from my own experience, and so far, having upgraded it last night, everything seems to be working absolutely fine. And some of the other stuff, like the settings, like the emails, are a big improvement over 8.1. So would I recommend upgrading your 920 to Windows 10? Absolutely. Anyway, I hope you've enjoyed this video. Thank you for watching.